Welcome to everybody. Um, it's your very favorite conservative think tank president. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe you have others that are more favorable. But Wayne Hoffman, president of Idaho Freedom Foundation, coming to you live from Boise. And just wanted to update you on a few things. I'm hoping people will climb into the chat, maybe ask some questions along the way if you would like to, because there is a lot that's happening. Chiefly in the research work that's being done by our Crackerjack team at the Center for American Education at the Idaho Freedom Foundation. If you haven't read the article or watched the video that Angela produced, talking about, yes, I'm playing with my hair because I can see that my hair is sticking up. I always get on here and I start to play with my hair and realize that I'm not quite ready for prime time, but I hope you'll forgive me a little bit. Um, at any rate, the team over at the Center for American Education has been doing some stellar research, perhaps the first of its kind in the United States, I think, where they're actually going through school district by school district and they're looking for gender and sexuality alliance clubs, various transgender policies, bathroom policies, and so on. And it might surprise you to know that we're finding them in abundance in school districts throughout Idaho. This isn't just something that you find in the Boise School District. It's not something that you find in liberal, very leftist places. I'm going to stop using the word liberal, and I'll tell you why. But first, let me finish this thought. You're not finding it just in leftist places like Haley or maybe places that have a history of supporting leftist legislators like Pocatello. It's everywhere. It's in small school districts, Cuna, Coeur d'Alene, places like that. We're finding it in abundance. And what they're doing with kids is very disturbing. And first of all, it's a function of how you're seeing young people, increasing numbers of young people. In fact, I heard a statistic the other day that said something on the order of 20% of Gen Z, Gen Zers, I guess they call them, identify as trans. I mean, that's just bizarre. And it's a function, and even the folks that are pro trans are starting to recognize that there's a bit of a problem here, that young people are being, pardon me, you'll notice that I have a bit of a cold. My nose is running. I'm just going to grab a tissue. Um, uh, that uh, they're noticing that, young people, as young as two, are identifying as gay or trans. And it makes no sense. My granddaughter is a year and a half old, and she could barely figure out, what she's going to eat in the morning. And so, to see that she might identify a certain way sexually or in gender is quite disturbing. I mean, we tell kids that Santa Claus is real, for crying out loud, and some of these kids that believe in Santa Claus are also deciding that they're a different gender because of what they're being told by adults. And the point is that they're doing it right here in Idaho. So I hope you'll take some time to read the article. We'll have more information available on this issue in late July, which is just around the corner. So end of next month, we'll have even more information and we'll help you identify what's going on, hopefully, in your own school district, in your own backyard. Um, this is very concerning, and I think people have used the word grooming to describe what's happening. I saw videos just yesterday of um, you know, preteen kids that were, performing drag for adults in bars. I mean, what's going on is foolish and makes very little sense, and um, and it's disturbing. Um, I would add that I grew up in rural Arkansas, um, in a place where um, boys were expected to do certain things. They were expected to be athletic. They were expected to be hunters. In fact, in my school, like a lot of schools in the South and maybe other places as well, but particularly in the South, you would get a day off for Deer Day. Deer Day was actually a school holiday, first day of the deer hunting season, and a lot of kids, were out hunting deer. I didn't do that. Wasn't good at sports. Hung around with an awful lot of girls, and did a lot of the things that the girls were doing. Was involved in whatever their interests were. Dressing up, cooking. Being gossipy about other girls. That's where I was. I was hanging out with those kids, and it makes me wonder, if I'd have grown up in this era, if they would have labeled me as trans. There wasn't a day that went by where somebody didn't, comment on my um, feminateness, I guess, for lack of a better description. Didn't help that I was also quite the nerd. So, I was a bookworm, an A student. So a lot of kids teased me, and it was polite. It wasn't, you know, go out and kill yourself because you're not hanging out with the boys. But certainly, um, today kids would be taught that, well, maybe you just don't fit the box that you were born in. Maybe you're not the same gender that you were assigned, and it's way too early for kids to be even contemplating that stuff, let alone being prescribed hormone therapies, being given chest binders for girls, and various other things to conceal the nether regions for boys. It's This is happening, and it's happening, as I said previously, right here in Idaho. Now, in the article that you'll see online, you'll note that we point out that Representative Barb Ehart, in the last couple of legislative sessions, had proposals to. Right now, when a kid wants to be in a club, they just get to be in a club on campus, and arguably, um, parents should know what clubs their kids are being introduced to, what clubs they're in. And so her proposal was an opt in. If they're going to be participating in any of this kind of stuff, they need to be able to opt in, and which means that their parents would have to sign a form indicating that they um, consent to their kids participating. Right now, with a lot of these clubs, they freely acknowledge that they are very secret clubs, that parents aren't designed to know what's going on with those activities, that anything that they talk about is going to be held in the strictest confidence, no parents allowed to participate. And that's a problem. And I appreciate the idea behind Representative Ehart's proposal, that parents should have the ability to say, yes, we want my kid participating, or no, we don't. But at the same time, I question just the idea that we're funding this stuff. You pay for the classroom, the resources, the teacher that's participating in the discussions. They're not there for free. They're being paid for by taxpayers. And just as a thought of experiment, I ask, what if, I don't know, what if the local school district wanted to have a club where they taught kids how to do, animal sacrifices? Would we be okay with an opt-in? No, we wouldn't. We'd say that's crazy, and we would immediately strive to defund those things. So it occurs to me that Idaho lawmakers, local school boards, they have a lot of say in the structure and the operations pardon me, they have a lot to say about the structure and the operations of their local school districts. So if the legislature is not going to defund these things in the interest of local control, which I say that's bullshit, the fact is that, it's our money, it's your money, it's my money being used to pay for this stuff. We should defund these things. And if they won't do it, the local school district should. Somebody needs to step up and be the adult in the room and be understanding about their role in protecting students and taxpayers with these kinds of enterprises. So I'm hoping that we'll be able to do more than just tell parents that they have the ability to opt in. I want to see these things just go away. There is an agenda. I don't fully understand what the agenda is. I don't understand why the left is so enamored with gender and sexuality and all that other stuff. I cannot wait for this damn Pride Month to be over with. It is just out of control. All these different corporations that are pandering to the lowest common denominator in society. It's absolutely ridiculous, and we expect more. We expect better out of a state like Idaho. So I hope you'll check out that article that our team put together a few days ago. It's on idahofreedom.org. Or if you don't want to read that, Angela has a video distillation of the issue on social media, so you can check that out as well. And that's about it. I did want to go back to what I said earlier about liberals and leftists. I've stopped using the word liberal, and the reason for that has to do a lot with the fact that, if you travel anywhere else in the world except the U.S., classical liberals are people who believe in freedom. In the U.S., liberals have been turned into these paragons of policy virtue by virtue of the word liberal. But really, these folks are leftists. They believe in government control. They believe in a society that's top down, driven by so-called policy experts, people who know better than us about everything from healthcare policy to the way your kids are supposed to be raised. And it's the word liberal is not appropriate in my view. The people that we're dealing with, the people that we're fighting, are leftists. They're socialists and they're Marxists, and they've been running the show for a very, very long time. We've given them an inch, they take a mile. We give them a mile, they take 10 miles, trying to think of the appropriate metaphor, but you get the idea. Every single time people have tried to compromise and negotiate and agree to just a little less government than what they were proposing, we always get more government than we signed up for. And so I have stopped using the word liberal to define these folks. They are leftists, and they mean to completely upend our free society, to turn our government on its head, to take parents out of the equation and replace them with uh, bureaucrats, rules and policies and statutes. And it's not working. It's not working at all. And we're doing it here in Idaho. There are no magic beans that stop Idaho from becoming places like California, Oregon, and Washington. And if you remember, those states were right of center at one point in our not too distant history. That can happen here unless we take what's happening really, really seriously. So that's pretty much it. I was hoping there'd be some people who'd want to chat with me tonight. Doesn't look like it, but let me just look here, press this button and see if. Oh no, that doesn't do anything. Uh, let's see. Oh, there are people talking. I didn't see that. Um, Oh, okay. Jim Turner is making fun of me. I'm glad. I was hoping that I'd provide some levity in your life. So if I can make your life better by talking and it makes you feel a lot better because you're laughing at me, that's fine. I don't care. The simple fact of the matter is, we need to find ways to make people feel good about themselves. And if watching me makes you feel better about yourself, then by all means, have at it, buddy. I don't care. Um, so anyway, I need your help with regard to this trans issue. Read the article that the Center for American Education at Idaho Freedom Foundation put together. Um, uh, Take some time to find out what's going on in your own school district. I had one of our supporters this morning CC me on an email that he sent to his local school officials asking if there are any gender and sexuality alliance clubs on his school's campuses. We're doing that work anyway, but the more the merrier. The more that are asking questions, the better off we'll be. And it's not just the gender and sexuality alliance clubs, it's also which school districts have trans bathroom policies, where if you identify as a different gender, you get to go and uh, go to the different bathroom um, than the one assigned to you at birth, as the leftists like to say. It's also policies that are in place with regard to how school districts deal with children's pronouns. So if a kid comes in and wants to be called a different name than the name that they were given by their parents, and they want to use different pronouns, then some school districts have policies in place that acknowledge that, no questions asked, and no questions asked of their parents. So we're all in this together to push back against the nonsense that is has certain taken hold in our state, in our country, and among the leftists who apparently know no boundaries anymore. Everything is acceptable. It's certainly very nihilistic, where nothing is right, nothing's wrong. Everything just is what it is. And Idaho doesn't need to be that way. And my team and I are hell bent to make sure that uh, they don't corrupt our state the way they've managed to destroy other states. So that's all I've got. No one's really saying anything much in the chat, so my voice is giving out. I probably sound worse than I feel, but hope to be back on here with you again on Thursday, and look forward to connecting with you then. Until next time, thank you, everybody. Bye bye.